Roguelikes are my personal favorite genre. The only problem about them is that they're not for everyone. These games can be a serious time commitment, so it's understandable why you wouldn't want to play them. They like to have a lot of one-shot kills, extreme difficulty spikes, tons of information and abilities that you need to learn, and an ungodly amount of luck involved. I often don't try to recommend roguelikes to people because it's a niche game genre that you need to discover on your own. With that being said, there is one game in this genre that I think anybody could find enjoyment out of, and that game is Risk of Rain 2. The basis of this game is really simple. Spawn in, kill enemies, loot chests, beat a boss or two, and then move on. Repeat that until you get overwhelmed by hundreds of enemies, or beat the game. In the beginning, that's all you'll really understand about the game. After dying a few times and not really making any progress, the game will encourage you to learn more about it. Figuring out what items do, finding all the types of bosses, finding what the ending is like, and trying all the new characters. All of these different things will eventually get you hooked on this game. Once you pass the first 2 to 3 confusing hours is when you enter the point of no return. You become completely addicted to this game and start having withdrawal symptoms whenever you need to go back to being a functional member of society. When you first play the game, you only have a few characters to pick from, but more can be unlocked as you play. Commando and Huntress are who you start with. They're both pretty run-of-the-mill basic starter characters, but some of the later characters get wild. You got a quick-scoping sniper that'll make you spend half the game flinging your mouse around like a maniac while you headshot every single enemy you see. This character is also famous for doing the highest damage in the game and letting you one-shot a whole bunch of bosses. She's also a DLC character, so technically she's pay to win. You also have Acrid, who is one of my personal favorites. He is a funny poisonous dog that lets you AFK after hitting enemies because you inflict a debuff that will eventually kill them. Characters also have extra abilities that you can choose from, so you can mix and match builds to your liking. It gives you a chance to experiment and find what works for you. There are tons of other characters in this game, but I'm not going to waste your time explaining every single one to you. Instead, I'm going to encourage you to buy the game so that you can discover what they all do yourself. The items are what this game is most famous for, and it immediately shows. Early on, you'll get boring and simple items that give you more health, do more damage, maybe a shield or two. It kinda does exactly what you expect just basic items to do. It's the items you'll end up finding later on that are really interesting. There's an item that gives you a Super Mario jump that'll fling you way up into the sky, and then you can slam back down and kill everything in your vicinity, including bosses. Another cool item is a Tesla coil that'll make you shoot lightning everywhere just for walking around. It'll kill any enemy that ever gets close to you. The unique thing about all the items that I've mentioned is that in this game, picking up multiple of an item actually allows you to stack it. Now all of those boring items that you get in the beginning can stack into something that is really crazy. That boring attack speed can turn any character into a machine gun, or you can straight up become invincible with enough damage reduction. You can also get enough movement items that the W key brings you to the other side of the map. Getting enough items where you're at the point where you are completely untouchable is one of the most satisfying things you can experience in a video game ever. There's no better feeling than one-shotting an enemy and having 100 items activate so that it creates some insane chain. If you get to the point where you can't even tell what's going on your screen, then you've got a good run. It also helps that this game is accompanied by a soundtrack that is so good that I think the only excuse for not liking it would be not having ears. Seriously though, this game is like a top 3 for me soundtrack wise. At the end of the day, if you ever end up getting bored of this game, you can just go play modded content. They are really easy to install and the modding community is super active, so you'll eventually find something you enjoy. Playing Goku in this game is worth the 5 minutes it takes to install mods. If mods aren't your thing, currently the Risk of Rain franchise is sort of going through some kind of evolution. It's expanding past just Risk of Rain 2 and is trying to appeal to a wider audience. They are getting another DLC which hasn't happened in almost 2 years, so that's pretty cool for Risk of Rain 2 fans. A remaster of the first game, which is actually really good by the way, and I recommend checking it out. It's only like $15, so it really is worth your money. I'll probably make a video on it at some point, so if you're unsure, then maybe that'll eventually come out. I don't know. They are also planning a mobile game, which is a little weird. It's not really where I expected the franchise to go, but maybe it'll be good. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens when it releases. In the meantime, while all that happens, you really should play Risk of Rain 2. I highly recommend getting this game with a friend, because you'll dump hours into this game. It's one of those games that you pick up and you just can't put down. Like most roguelikes, it has that rough beginning. It can be not that fun to start out, but then once it all clicks, it gets really fun. Risk of Rain 2 goes on sale pretty often, so you can usually find it for a good price. That's pretty much all I can say. If this video didn't make you pick up Risk of Rain 2, unfortunate. If it did, great. that's pretty much it. The video's over now. Bye!